Hi, thanks for coming back to the Inexperienced Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's conversation, you can find all of our other conversations on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or our YouTube channel. You can also follow along on our social medias on Instagram, X, or TikTok under the same handle, _inexperience_, as well as Facebook under the Inexperienced Podcast. You can also send us an email at myinexperiencedpodcast@gmail.com. You can visit our website at inexperiencedpodcast.com. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on a future episode, you can fill out our guest interview inquiry survey that can be found on our social medias or our website. Thanks again for joining us. Please enjoy this episode and continue to follow along and share with your friends. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to the Inexperienced Podcast. My guest today is former 9-year MLB veteran and Brooklyn's very own John Halama. Mr. Halama, thank you so much for joining us.
How you doing, Joe? You're welcome. My pleasure.
So we know each. I know you. I'm 27 years old. I know you almost 20 years now. I was probably like 9 years old when you taught me how to pitch.
Huh. Has it been that long?
Yeah, I mean 2000. It was right after the Steelers Super Bowl 43 because I was caught wearing. I wore my Palomalu jersey every week. I got made fun of.
Yeah.
Wearing a Troy Polamalu Steelers jersey. That's what I remember. But
he was a
learning
beast.
from you. Oh, he was so good.
Yeah.
But learning from you at the Aviator in Brooklyn is what pushed me to want to pursue pitching. I wasn't good for years after that, but it took a while.
Okay.
And so I'm always fond of listening to about your career, and I hear about you all the time. So this is gonna be fun. I've interviewed you once before for a high school documentary.
Yeah, right outside, in front of Bishop Ford. If I'm not mistaken, your dad was there too.
Yeah. Right? He was supervising. The area is so different. So the school's closed. Bishop Ford is now gone.
Yes, I do know about that.
The school's still standing. I think it's like a charter school now.
I think so. I think the priests and nuns still have the third floor, from what I was told. But when I was told this was probably about, I'd say 7, 8, maybe 9 years ago, 10 years ago, roughly. I think the priests still are there and nuns, but I think it is a charter school now. But every time I've driven by it, which is very, very seldomly, I don't like. It doesn't even seem like it's occupied. The parking spots are empty. It doesn't seem like it is a charter school. Like it's.
My grandparents are at
vacant.
Greenwood, so I pass it every so often, and yeah, it almost looks like it's abandoned.
Correct.
So,
but it still looks in good shape. But it just doesn't look like there's anybody there.
A little bit of TLC they could open. I mean, they still have the weather mains and all the satellites that were a big deal when they had them in 2005.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, it's the neighborhood's changing. Brooklyn is not what it was when I was still growing up there, 15 years ago, and certainly not when you were growing up there.
No, it's definitely changed. I mean, I know that my neighborhood is predominantly all Chinese.
Which neighborhood did you grow up in?
I was in Bay Ridge, up on 8th, right by Parkville, right by Zeke's.
Oh,
do you remember Zeke's? There you go.
Zeke's was so good. Yeah. Underrated roast beef.
Yeah, and you know something. I mean, I know Rollin' Roast is good, and I'm not gonna poop on Rollin' Roast because it is good. But when it came down to it, I thought Zeke's was a little bit better with the roast beef. Rollin' Roast definitely has the French fries.
The fritters are great at Rollin' Roaster.
And the thing is, being in Bay Ridge where we were, to drive all the way out to Sheepshead Bay and to deal with the traffic on the Belt Parkway to go get the roast beef sandwich, it was like, you know what? I could walk 1 block and I could get myself the same roast beef sandwich and enjoy it and come home, and I saved myself an hour and 15 minutes of driving.
And that was when they were still by the Dust Bowl, right?
Yeah, right across the street.
Right in that area.
Yeah.
They moved. They moved to 3rd Avenue, and now they're gone. That was when I moved out to Long Island, the day that we moved. So I stayed in Zavarian from Long Island, but we were moving, so me and my friends went for a walk, and that was the last meal I ate as a Brooklynite, was at Zeke's.
Yeah, right there, 3rd Avenue, right across, I think, Greenhouse Cafe.
Yep, that was where the new one is, and now there's a Greek spot there, Louis, which is phenomenal.
Okay.
Also very good.
Yeah, once again, I don't know any of that stuff. Go ahead.
I grew up in Bensonhurst, so I'm familiar with the same area. My grandfather owned Stella Ravioli on 18th Avenue. if you
Okay.
remember that from back in the
I've
day.
heard of it. Never been there, but I've heard of it. We didn't go out to eat as much when we were younger. It was just more of being home, eating dinner at home, like as a family, as best as we could. Considering we all had something. My sister played softball, my brother played baseball, and I played baseball, and so it was like to try to get everybody together all the time wasn't easy. So when we were able to, we did it.
Well, I was watching a couple of interviews that you've done, and you mentioned that your parents were from Europe, so that's like the very European way too. Family dinner every
Charlie,
night,
I'm in the mood. I'm in
and
the middle of something. Charlie, sorry, my son.
all good,
We're
all
gonna
good. Hi,
probably have
Charlie.
some.
How are you?
Say hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
What's up, bud? Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you too.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, my parents are from Eastern Europe. Mom from Poland, father from Czechoslovakia. When the country split, the Slovakia side.
All right, and they came here right after the war.
My dad came here in '69. My mom basically right after that too. So right around that time. I'm sorry, 1970s, something like that.
They raised a Major League Baseball player. I'm sure no one back home would have thought that.
It's funny you say that, but when I went to, my grandfather died on my father's side. No, Charlie, don't touch buttons. Don't touch buttons, please. Okay. So in 2007, my grandfather died. So I went with my dad to Slovakia. And everybody conversation. I don't know my cousins. I know my aunts and uncles, but I don't know my cousins. And they're all asking, well, what do you do for work? What do you do for work? And I'm telling them baseball. But in Czechoslovakia, they didn't know what the hell that was. So it's like, what's that? So the minute I was like, okay, like Yankees. Oh, then all of a sudden, because Yankees are so popular internationally, then they're all of a sudden like, oh, Yankees, yeah, that's what I did. And they're like looking at me like once again, baseball doesn't exist, or it didn't back then. I don't know if it doesn't exist, today. But in 2007, it was like non-existent.
When I went to Sicily 10 years ago, we bring baseball gloves every time we went to Italy. It's so much fun to just like teach them. They want to learn, and then like they're surprisingly good at it.
But Italy's always had a team. They've always had baseball.
Well,
some of the
Czech
other
Czech Republic just had a World Baseball Classic team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Back in 2007, it was non-existent, if I'm not mistaken.
No, definitely not.
They were maybe in the process of trying to start to develop it slowly, basically on a quiet side, But I think now there is Czech Republic. Poland has a team, and a lot more of the teams in Europe are having a lot more of the countries in Europe are starting to do baseball because MLB is doing the international side of promoting it.
Which is great. The World Baseball Classic has become really fun. And watching a team like the Czech Republic, when you see a plumber strike out Shohei Ohtani, that's good for baseball.
Yes.
It's actually good for baseball.
Once again, you're talking about they're so far behind. They're behind. If you look at their elite players, who can they compete with? You take the drafted players, the high school drafted players, and they go down to the lowest level. I don't even know if they'd be able to compete with them because you look at some of those guys that are drafted, they can bang the ball, and they're also running the ball up there in the low to mid 90s. And when you look at some of those, those European teams, a 95 mile per hour fastball looks like 120, 110, 120. They can run it up there. Some of these kids, they're gifted, they're talented. They've trained their whole life. But like you even put them up against like the Little League World Series. You're talking about the 10U kids. They're throwing 76, but it's equivalent to like 101. And
from the shorter mound and stuff.
Correct, shorter mound and all that stuff. But now you want to compare them to put them up against some of these guys. It's like they probably give them a run for their money. But they're going to develop. They're going to get better. The popularity is going to take over. And it's going to take one kid to get drafted, and then all of a sudden the fuse is lit, and it's just going to be a boom. Because once again, in Czech Republic, Slovakia, hockey's their sport, soccer's their sport. It's the way it is pretty much throughout Europe.
how many Slovenian kids grew up thinking they'd play in the NBA, and now there's quite a few.
Correct.
So,
But NBA has done a good job of doing that stuff, of
and
promoting it. And once you get one, others want to follow suit.
baseball is probably the hardest sport to try to get a different class of, like, growing up and stuff. It's different when there's so many different tools required to play baseball,
Yep.
where you can learn how to shoot a basketball eventually. You'll get there, or whatever else it is. But baseball takes so much hand-eye coordination and concentration, and a level that they don't quite, they're not there yet. And we've seen
I agree.
they tried to convert cricket players in India for quite a while with no real success.
You know what? I mean, for me, I'm not going to talk about, like, I mean, I can't really talk about a lot about, like, for baseball, because it's so popular in America, the popularity is still, it's growing in Europe, to my understanding. But for me, I don't know what it's like to be over there. I know what I did growing up. I mean, we played all three sports 7 days a week. We woke up, we played basketball or football, or we went and played, even if it was softball, because, I mean, once again, how could you can't really get 9 people to play baseball. And then where are you going to find 9 other kids to play against?
Mm-hmm.
So we would kind of break down, the park next to us and play softball. And it was like, okay, we could play 4-on-4. You have a shortstop because it was a short side first base to second base. So it was a short right field porch. So we played the longer way. So if you were left-handed, you still had to hit the ball that way. So
we
you
used to play pitcher's poison. So we have one guy play on the left side of the mound, one guy on the right, and like 1 or 2 outfielders. If the pitcher got the ball before it like passed the mound, you were out. Like those little rules that you had to play with.
Especially when you can't play, you can't field the whole team. So, and then we played wiffle ball. I lived right by a tennis court. So I can't tell you how many times we'd walk through the thick grass and find tennis ball after tennis ball after tennis ball, because we would take that and use that as stick, not stick ball, but baseball off the wall. Draw the little box, and there's your strike zone, and we would pitch from across the street. And those tennis balls usually took a beating with an aluminum bat, so they didn't last long. But we would find 6, 7, 8 tennis balls and just run through them on a regular basis. And when we were done with them, here comes the wiffle ball, because we could play with that forever.
And kids don't have that anymore. They don't play ball in the street anymore. No one's yelling car. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happened.
You know what? I don't know. I mean, once again, I can't speak for that, but it's disappointing when you don't see it, because Brooklyn has such a rich foundation of baseball. From
I was
way
surprised.
back in the day. The Brooklyn Dodgers, the Giants, and then the Yankees and so forth. And then it was popular when I was younger, and even before me, and even for years after that, until I became probably. I mean, even throughout my Bishop Ford days, baseball was still popular. All the sports were popular to play out there. You looked at the parks; they were loaded with kids.
Especially in like the Brooklyn Catholic high school scene. I mean, you had guys like you and Ricupero were the same age. So you guys played against each other. He was a year older. Okay.
Yes.
So, but you guys still pretty much the same time, that's exciting.
Of course.
Especially for Brooklyn, especially knowing that, and Franco, Johnny Franco is a Mets hero, always will be.
He's a legend.
He's a Brooklyn boy. I'm not a Mets fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I love Johnny Franco. That's a good man.
Of course. You know what? I mean, you got to give props to whoever has made it, because to get drafted is one thing, to make it to the big leagues is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it, and he was one of the top closers in the game throughout his time period.
And he should be a Hall of Famer.
Should be a Hall of Famer,
without a doubt. It's so sad. It's sad what they do to relief pitchers.
Yeah. Listen, Mariano Rivera was a first ballot guy no matter what. His credentials speak for itself. But, I mean, you can't compare Rivera to Franco. Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer. Franco dominated the
top
closer's
lefty
position.
Saves.
Yes.
He's got the most saves for a lefty.
So he should be in. What's holding it back, But nowadays, you got this new baseball thing, and I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, time will always tell. You have your your gaps where you say it was good. You have your gaps where you say it was bad, and so forth.
The current state of baseball, I don't know if there's many relievers that make the Hall of Fame. The reliever
Well,
is not what it was.
well, maybe
Disposable.
the reliever may have a better opportunity than a starter because your starters aren't lasting deep into games.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've lost the. When I was growing up, there was so many guys you're like, that's a Hall of Famer. That guy is dominant and he's going to run through you and he's going to absolutely kill you. We don't have those cutthroat guys anymore. Paul Skeens is exciting to see because he's going to be one of those guys.
He
As of
should
now.
be. He should be.
In the right situation. Is it Pittsburgh? I don't know.
Well, he's winning games at Pittsburgh. It's not like he's losing.
Yeah, when they allow him to win games. He's like Jacob deGrom.
Well, hey, there's a Jacob is such a. He's a dude.
He is, yeah. That's another guy. I was at his first career start. It was against the Yankees and at Citi Field, and he won that. It was a 1-0 game. The Yankees won, I believe, 1-0, which him versus Chase Whitley. But that was just a precursor to what his career would be in Queens. He had no idea.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, not trying to debate it with you, but he had a really good career with the Mets. He had a lot of ups and downs with health issues, but when he was healthy, he was dominant.
As a person who specifically, like, I like pitchers. I grew up pitching. I really like, and everyone loved Syndergaard because they came up at the same time, and he was the guy that I liked. I was like, nah, watch this guy. Give him a couple years. Syndergaard was that guy who, out of the gate, was throwing hard and fast, and you kind of knew. Looks like Lincecum. Like, he could fall off at any moment, and that's exactly, unfortunately, what happened.
You know what? For me personally, listen, being a Mets fan, and I'm not going to definitely, downplay Syndergaard. Syndergaard was a dominant pitcher for a very short period of time. For me, it was always DeGrom, Harvey. You could go Harvey, DeGrom. It doesn't matter. But to me, Syndergaard was probably either number 3 or number 4. And that's not saying anything bad. I mean, yeah, the guy lit it up as far as the radar gun. But, I mean, when it came down to it, I just thought there was more with DeGrom and Harvey. And Harvey, like, once again, I don't know if he's still trying to play, but he was a couple of years ago. I wish
he's going to be a Mets Old Timers Day this year, so I think he's done.
So he's done. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a career that who knows what could have happened
Harvey
if he was healthy.
He went through some mental struggles I know of that we know of publicly that the reason why he left the Mets and stuff, and hey, it's sad.
I was hoping he was going to recover his career somewhere else. Go to like a smaller market, less maybe media, less partying stuff, and maybe get really back on track
with Cincinnati or the Angels. And I don't think that his head was there. He wanted to be in New York so badly that he was trying to get back to the other side of New York. It was no secret that he wanted to be a Yankee.
Okay.
He was at Jeter's last game while he was a Met. Like, it was a big... People were very upset. Okay. I really wish he worked out. That was one of those... He was a dude. That was a guy who just... And Jeremy Hefner, too, right before that. The Mets have had a couple of those guys who come out there and you're like, that's a guy.
And, what they have, the lefty, oh, God, I could see him pitching, too. I can't think of his name right now. Pulsifer.
Yes. Pulsifer and... I remember growing up on John Nees and Mike Pelfrey, and I'm not a Mets fan, but those guys were like... When they
Pelfrey,
were on...
power sinker.
They were so good.
Look at the arms the Mets have developed. And if I'm not mistaken, these guys are all through their organization, not through trades or anything. So you look at that and it's like, wow, they developed. And they developed, I mean, like in the baseball world, we used to call them unicorns. When you have like 5 number ones in your rotation, it's like, wow. That's unheard of. And
like I said, are starting to run with that.
I'm sorry?
The Yankees are starting to look like that, too. Their rotation's very surprising.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was good at that time period. I mean, it was disappointing that the Mets didn't win a World Series in that year with the Royals. But there was such a bright future there, being a Mets fan and being a New York fan, because, the Yankees dominate the back pages of the sports section. They always did. The Mets could win a World Series, and it'll still be something about the Yankees. And I don't mean that disrespectful, But it's
The
just
Yankees are the only team that could take a headline from the Knicks in December.
Yeah,
without playing a game.
exactly.
Just how it is.
I mean, it's a Yankees town until maybe the Mets just have to go out there and start dominating and putting up those trophies. And if they put up those World Series trophies, then maybe things will start swaying towards them. But like you just said, they could win a championship and something will still be about the Yankees.
But I not. As a Yankees fan, I hate that they have an owner that wants to spend money. I love making fun of the Mets, and it's gonna get I'm gonna get used to it, but it still bothers me. But as a baseball fan, and I'm gonna get made fun of because my friends will clip this if they want. It's awesome to see them bring they really do have some sort of history. They had some great players that they should be represented, and the Wilpons did not do a good job with that, honoring Mets history. No. Not at all. There's still some things that they do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
not like Willie Mays' number. I don't know should be retired for the Mets. A plaque to represent him and to thank him for his contributions to New York baseball, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about retiring Willie Mays' number, but they're trying. At least they're trying.
I mean, listen, he's got deep pockets. He's spending some money.
He's a Mets fan.
He's a Mets fan. Grew up, born and raised. That's why he bought the team. So
you can't knock that.
No, without a doubt. Now, what are you going to do? I mean, okay. I don't know the gentleman. I don't know if he's a baseball guy. I know I met Steinbrenner, the father, and when it came down to it for him, it was like win or heads are going to roll. And we've seen that throughout history. We got to the World Series, we lost. What did he do? He's firing people, getting rid of people. And it's like, whoa, you got there. I mean, but once again, that's the way he was. So now it's like, okay, Cohen, are you a baseball guy or are you just a fan? You got this monopoly money. You just can do whatever you want with it and so forth. And yeah, he's going to make his money because, I mean, listen, there's a lot of excitement for the Mets, but you got to win. And when I say win, it's win in the playoffs and win a World Series. Throughout a 162 game schedule, they're going to win their fair share. They should be up there. They should be in the playoffs.
With the new playoff format, there should never be a time where the Mets don't even sneak into a wild card. Not with the money they could spend.
Correct. So you're getting the top players. Not knowing their roster right now, I know they're in first place, but there was a point I was checking up. I was like, I think they were on the West Coast swing.
Mm-hmm.
They might have been playing the D-backs, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, watching them. And I want to say that Philadelphia came up out of nowhere, took over first place, and I'm like, how the hell did this just happen?
The Mets had a really bad 2 weeks.
They had, yes.
Recently. They were like 3 games out, but now they're back.
Yeah, they're back in first place, I think 4 or 5 up. So it's like, okay, are we going through that process of when they were up like 17 games and all of a sudden Philadelphia comes in, takes the division, and the Mets get bounced out? And I know the playoff format's different now than what it was back then. But so I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is way too early for this. Like, oh my God, what's going on? And once again, I'm still a diehard Mets fan. Of all the teams, I check them out. I mean, and it's no disrespect to Seattle and all the other teams I played for. I just grew up a Mets fan. Even when I was with Seattle, I mean, I was an American League guy, so I was still, what are the Mets doing?
Checking on the Mets.
It's I mean, I grew up. That's what I grew up. Yes, I pitched and played for the Mariners, and I wanted to win. And if we played against the Mets, it was like, okay, I'm beating them. That's what I want to do. I want the World Series ring.
So what was 2000 like for you, knowing that there was a chance to go play against the Mets, like going into that series versus the Yankees, the ALCS?
You know what? First of all, we were going up against the Yankees, which come playoff time is no easy task.
Different
They're
piece.
just so damn good.
Not very good going into the playoffs, but they were the Yankees.
That's what I'm saying. The Yankees, playoffs, and then you're going to the house that Babe Ruth built. It's like there's like a different aura there. I mean, I've been there during the regular season, and it's like, wow, it's exciting. For me, it was exciting. Maybe because I was a New Yorker, the fans weren't really crushing me as bad. I don't know. I mean, that's not a question I could really ask. But when you hear what the other guys are getting, and it's like, why am I not getting this type of, this harassment? And then all of a sudden you go out there and the introductions happen, and you hear, like I said, that place, wow. It was beyond electric, if you could even say it. It was like radioactive. It's like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, when here comes Derek Jeter, and the crowd just absolutely freaking, like, it's deafening. You can't hear the person you're talking to right beside you. It was just like, wow, this is just a different animal here. And it was, like I said, playoff time and regular season, it's night and day. No one likes to go in there during the regular season. Now you're going in there during the playoff season. Definitely a big advantage for the Yankees. But you still got to go out there and play, and you got to do what you got to do. But they just have some magical thing. I mean, especially with that core that they had, they just knew how to deal with it. They were so good.
They were just ice. And if you watch the Derek Jeter documentary, The Captain, the way he just talks, especially that year, and he talks about, like, hey, we weren't good. We had like 88 wins, but, it comes rolling around. It's time to play. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. Hockey, if you're paying attention to the hockey players this year, Brad Marchand didn't have like a fantastic year, but he's one of those guys. 16 games is all it takes. You need 16 wins to win a championship, and you need guys like that. Guys like that are important.
And and that was, listen, Derek Jeter was what he was, but he was such a great person in the locker room, from what I've always heard, and he just knew how to corral the herd. And once again, he probably had some help. I mean, Posada was a big part of it. I'm sure Bernie was, Pettit was, and Mariano. They were, once again, that's the core of the guys, and they did it really well. They like I said, they were really good at what they did. And you look at the other contributors, and not that they stunk, but the team was based on those guys. Jeter, 300 plus hitter, Posada, 300 hitter, Bernie, 300 hitter. At that time period in 2000, yes, towards the end they started to slack down with the batting averages.
That happens.
That's everybody when they get towards the end of their careers. But they were really good.
We see a team that has 4 guys that bat over 275, and we're happy now.
Now? Oh my God, if you're 250,
gross.
You're looking at it, you're like, wow, look at this guy's a hitter, 250.
Listen, I like Anthony Volpe, but he's batting 245. What are we too much praise for a 245 hitter at shortstop? Come on.
The game has changed so much right now, and it's funny because I was talking about it last night with a Mariners fan, and he remembered me from my Mariner days. So I told him, I said, he's just a baseball fan. So I said, do yourself a favor. Why don't you look at the numbers? Go and look. You could look back from back when I played to what's now. How many 300 hitters are there? Because it usually gives you, the Daily News always gave you the full list of the hitters, the full list of pitchers, the top pitchers, and they categorize them and so forth. I said, now go and look at the numbers back then. Team strikeouts to team strikeouts now. Go look at team home runs back then. Team home runs now. The game has changed. It's all about home runs and it's all about strikeouts. If a hitter strikes out 175 times, but he hits 40 home runs, he's considered good. But he hit 210.
Wild. It's wild to me. The leadoff hitters we have now are crazy to me. 280?
How many 200 inning guys are there in the game now?
No, the pitching injuries are crazy to me too. Just over the last 6 years, really.
So, and I was telling him, I'm like, I don't, and I said, I don't know how much you pay attention to it, but it seems like every year, home run record is broken. Every year, the strikeout record is broken from the pitching side and from the hitting side. So you turn around and you tell yourself, okay, is that good for baseball or is that bad for baseball?
Horrible.
I mean, it depends on what type of fan you are.
See, I'd rather see 18 base runners than see 4 home runs and that's the only hits of the game. That's just, to me, something's always happening.
And you want to know something? And I also told him this. I said, when it comes to playoff time, usually the team that wins is not the team that just sits there and outslugs you, because you're not going to outslug number 1 and number 2 pitchers in a rotation. It's very hard. I mean, yeah, Clemens will have a bad day, and I'm not trying to name drop there, but your number 1 pitcher, sorry, let's take that back.
Yeah, which is your era. That was the number 1, especially facing the Yankees in 2000.
Yeah. Pedro, I mean, once again, you're talking about Randy Johnson's. You don't go out there, turn around saying, oh, we're going to get 5 home runs on this guy. No, you're not.
Mm-mm.
You may not get a ball out of the infield, let alone you may be taking your baseball bat and going back to the locker, to the dugout with a punch out. They struck out 12, 13, 14 guys a game. You think you're going to hit 5, 6 home runs? So it's like you don't make your money on those guys. You make your money on the bottom of the rotation guys. If you could stay afloat and turn around and maybe get a hit off of the elite pitchers, you're doing well. Because in a 5-game set, you're going to face him twice.
And it's not even about getting hits anymore. It's about running them down. Hey, listen, you might strike out, but you threw 10 pitches, so good job.
Yeah. And look,
And
and that's another thing. Starting pitchers, they barely get into the 5th inning.
No, yesterday Garrett Crochet pitched into the 9th, which was a
Yeah.
nice surprise. But it always happens. Yankees Red Sox are always good for like one of those pitching matchups
Correct. Yes.
every year. It's just classic
Yes.
baseball, which was
exciting. a 1-0
Always.
game. I think Judge hit a home run.
Of course.
if
Which
I'm
he
not
had struck out his last 6 at-bats versus Crochet.
Okay. He popped
So-
them, tied up game 1-1, and then the Yankees lost
Fell
it.
apart. They completely forgot how to play baseball after that.
And,
It was
and
disgusting.
I mean, we could sit here and say that the extra inning rules are good or bad with the runner at second base. All right, yes and no. I mean, I get the theory behind it, but when it comes down to it, the other team gets the same thing that you get. But it just doesn't seem like teams are able to manufacture some runs like
No,
they
and they're
once were able to. And
I
I don't
miss
know where
19
that
inning
stems
games, though.
from, but a lot of times we've heard some things that you get 27 outs. We don't want to burn an out by bunting guys over. Well, I mean, is it about burning an out or is it about winning a game? And like once again, you could talk the back and forths with it. What's right, what's wrong, I don't know. But for me, if you're going to win a game and you got to lay down a bunt, then do it. I mean, once again, if it's early in the game, I mean, I'd rather in the first inning be up 1-0 going out on the mound than being down 1-0.
And there's just too much micromanaging now. I can't imagine being on the mound knowing that you might get taken out, not even because you made a mistake, not because you threw the wrong pitch, but because some dude in an office called down and said, "Nah, we don't like this matchup," and they take you out now. That's not baseball. Like, could you imagine Lou Piniella sitting there with a binder? Come on, it wasn't happening.
No, I can't because something. The one thing is, I mean, you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about a guy that all he did is baseball his whole life. Played it at the highest level with the Yankees and so forth.
And managed
And he
until he
managed.
couldn't anymore.
Yeah. Some of these older guys, they have that thing inside. And, I know a lot of times we've always talked about it is, what do your eyes see? Okay, we're in the 4th inning. He's going 2 times through the lineup already, obviously. He's getting close to the bottom of the lineup. It's going to be flipped around 3 times through. And a lot of times they're like, oh, no, he can't go 3 times through because, look, the numbers say it doesn't match up. The batting averages go up higher. But my eyes are indicating something different. Like, my eyes are telling me he's throwing the ball really well. I'm going to leave him in there.
And you're right. But even last night's a perfect example. Crochet got Judge 3 times to strike him out 3 times in his last 2 games. Each game. Yesterday was the first time he got him a 4th time. And what happened?
And he got him.
He got him. He got him good.
But you want to know something? To take him out wouldn't have been the right move. See, the thing is in the sports world, it's not. I know the oldest saying: "You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't." So, okay, Cora takes him out. Now he's got to answer to the media. Why'd you take him out?
Mm-hmm.
You struck him out 6 straight times. Well,
Exactly.
I just figured he was going to hit a home run off of him. Well,
The book
he
says
struck him
so.
out 6 times. So it's like you always there's always the safety net. I left him in there because he struck him out 6 straight times. Well, you should have taken him out. No, my eyes are telling me and my stats are telling me he struck him out. I'm leaving him in.
And all Aaron Judge can do is tie the game at that point. I know it sounds crazy, but it's better than putting him on. It's better than what could happen. So, I mean, they walk Aaron Judge in the 1st inning now. The Angels did that twice this year.
But you also got to remember this too. It's easy to second guess after.
Oh yeah,
Without a doubt.
hindsight's 20/20 always.
Okay, So you go down to Atlantic City, you're sitting at a blackjack table, and all of a sudden you got 15. The dealer's showing a 5. Well, what you're always told to what?
You
I'm
gotta
hitting
hit
it. Why? Because
because
you don't.
you
Okay,
can only
he
have
flips.
15 the highest, 16.
You hit. You take the high card. You bust. Dealer shows. He flips it over. He's got 15. He takes it, and what does he get? He gets the 3. The whole table loses.
Mm-hmm.
Now you sit there and tell yourself, why did I take the hit? Why did I take the king? He could have taken the king. The whole table would have won their bets and so forth. Yeah, because you know what the outcome was. So basically, yesterday's game, Crockett pitching. If Cora would have known Judge was going to hit a home run, he would have taken him out because we already know the outcome. But when you're in that
he's one of the good managers in baseball too.
He's what?
He's one of the good managers in baseball.
Oh yeah, he is. I mean, look at his lineage. Family's all involved in baseball. He knows what he's doing, and he probably deep inside said, "I don't care what anybody says. This is the matchup. This is what I want." He struck him out, made him look bad, which not a lot of people make Judge look bad. He's one of the premier hitters in the game.
The Red Sox do a great job at it. They always have.
It's a rivalry.
We can't. Yeah, I love. But so now you've played in the rivalry with the Red Sox. You pitched on at Yankee Stadium and at Fenway. What's it like? What's it like being in it? Especially in 05. 05 was a rough follow-up for the Yankees after the tragedy in 04.
I will say this. When I played for the Red Sox, I was so happy. Look at the team they had. I mean, they were really good. We could go position for position. It was a loaded team. When you're in that stadium as a Red Sox and you're winning, I mean, they only get, I think, 32,000 fans. They don't get a whole lot, but that place is jam packed and it is as loud as can be.
It bounces like an old stadium should.
Oh my God, the old, like I said, it's just such. You take away the old stadium part of it, the locker rooms and so forth, the dugout. It's just such a great place to be. Like the first time I went there in '99, the hairs on my neck and arms stood up, and I'm like, oh my God. All the times of seeing Yankees on Channel 11, and you're watching that green monster, and you're like, oh my God, look at that. You get out there, and you're, holy crap.
You think about like Bucky Dent. You sit there, and you're like, wow.
Yeah. So, and back then, it wasn't the Mets playing them. It was just the Yankees. They didn't have that interleague stuff.
Not until 97.
Yeah, till you're watching all this stuff, and you're just like, oh my God. And now I'm on this field with all the legends that, once again, have played for the Red Sox. So it was like one of those like really humbling feelings, like I made it. Wow. And then when you get on that mound,
you feel the ghosts. You feel the ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah. You go inside that green monster wall and you see the signatures of players, and some of them you don't know who's who. But like you just look at this. Like every player has, like all players come in here to sign it. Wow. What?
Joe DiMaggio touched this dirt. Him and Ted Williams.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things there. Same thing with Yankee Stadium. I mean, the house that Ruth built, not the new one. It was. You got so many Yankee fans in the stands. How they're even getting in there with, once again, I think that the season ticket sales for for the Red Sox are just like, how did a Yankee fan even get a ticket for this place? Because of the rivalry. Well, how is like Red Sox fans not just scooping them all up as much as they can? But it is what it is. So you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God. But it's such a great, it's so good for baseball, the rivalry. And hence, why does it seem like the Yankees and Red Sox always play on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday night baseball is always going to be the Yankees, Red Sox?
Why would you put them on a Tuesday? But even if you did, so my ex-girlfriend was a Mets fan. And the rule was she paid for Mets tickets, I paid for Yankees tickets. This way we can go to as many games as possible. And one year she's like, hey, let's go. The Mets are playing the Braves. It was a Tuesday night. I said, all right, let's go Tuesday in May. And the Mets were in first place at the time. Braves were in second. It was like exciting. No one's there. Stadium was empty. This had to be 2018, 2019 maybe.
Gotcha.
And I was like, is this your rival? Like, is this number one? Who is it? Is it the Phillies or is it the Braves? Because way back when I was a kid, you hated Chipper Jones, but now the Phillies are good. And she was like, no, it's the
It
Braves.
was the Braves because of how good they were.
And I was like, so this is what it's like. She goes, yeah, well, it's May. So the next week, it was a Tuesday, Yankees, Red Sox, also for first place. Almost the same situation. I said, we're going to go to that one. She looked at me in the second inning. She goes, is this what the playoffs feel like? I was like, damn right it is. Every day is go versus the Red Sox. I don't care if they can have 3 wins into September, and I would feel like it's a World Series game. I hate them.
And you know what's funny? It was no different than with the Cubs. Back in '98, I went to Wrigley, and the season was young, but the place is jam packed. It's cold as hell, and you're sitting here. You know, you barely can feel your fingertips, and here you are on a dark, damp, cold freaking day game because they didn't play many night games back then. And here you are. You have the Cub fans all over the place, on top of the rooftops. You know, the stands were just jam packed. You know, you got your certain teams, no matter what. And then you go down
and
the
that's
road.
100 years of losing, 100 years of nothing.
Yeah, back then it was. Yeah. And then they finally win their World Series, but they're still packed. I mean, yeah, they're doing good this year, but I think the last 3 or 4 years they haven't really been that good. I think they've just been average at best.
But they would trade it for a heartbeat for 2016 every single time.
Oh, without a doubt. But
get rid of everybody. It don't matter.
Fan base is there. They have it. They travel. No matter what, they travel. They have a fan base, and that's the beauty about baseball. I can't speak for the other sports, but baseball, your diehards, they'll travel cross country to go see their favorite team. Yankee fans travel. I played for Tampa Bay. Do you know how we're in our home park and we're dominated by Yankee fans, probably 2 to 3 to 1 ratio.
Yankee fans are good. I went to Dodger Stadium, and you would think that like you were in Baltimore. Like it's like a decent drive to get there. You're like, oh, okay, they made the ride.
And that's another thing. Like Baltimore, I know Baltimore's a lot better now than what they were when I played for them. And it's no disrespect to the players. We had a really good team, but you're in the Yankee division, you're in the Red Sox division, and Toronto was really good. I mean, Holiday and all, they were really good. So, but here you are, you're in Camden Yards, and what do you have? You have more Yankee fans than Oriole fans? What? Like this isn't just a brand new Tampa Bay Devil Ray team. This is Baltimore Orioles. They've been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on here?
Their history with the Yankees also intertwined at some point.
Correct. And you got just so many fans. Like I said, that's why I said. And I know, granted, that proximity is 2.5 hour drive down the turnpike. Down 95. Boom, here you are.
Not a bad drive.
No, not at all.
And it's cheap. That's what it sucks about being a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankees fan, a Rangers fan, and a Steelers fan. Every team I like is expensive to go see. So road games are usually where it's at. And for Yankees, it's pretty easy to feel safe in a stadium.
Yeah.
Especially like I went to the first playoff game in Boston, Yankees Red Sox 2018. First one after 2004, and that was a hostile environment. I love that feeling. I love that feeling of like, oh, if they hit a home run here, I'm going to get something thrown at me.
Oh, yeah.
But people are softer than they were, like, especially in the early 2000s and the 90s. That's just how it was. That's how you go in with a different jersey. You expect to get, like, taunted.
Yeah, you're going to.
You got to play the game. Play the game.
And
people don't get that now.
I mean, but, the one thing is the rivalry with the Yankees and the Red Sox, it is what it is. But, you go up into the Bronx and you're wearing a Red Sox jersey, you're going to get harassed, period.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox could win. You're still going to get harassed. No matter what.
But that's fine with me. I remember I was... So it had to be 2005. And so I was 7 years old, maybe. We went to Disney, and I'm staring this kid down in a Red Sox hat. My dad had to tell me, hey, Joe, look the other way. Like, stop staring. And I was like, yeah, but he's got a Red Sox hat on. That's the enemy. Yeah. And it's bred like that. It's just, and especially with these two teams, it's winning. Either you win or you lose. There's no losing. You have to win. And you could actually win and not win the game.
Yeah.
Especially as a Yankee fan, I've watched plenty of games where they win by 6 runs, and I'm disappointed in how they played.
Mm-hmm.
It just,
Yeah.
even this year, they're one of the best teams in baseball. I don't think they're good. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
The Yankees.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to fall apart.
I seen a couple of games. They look pretty good when I watched them, but once again, I being out of it for so long, it's the philosophies of what the organizations preach to their players now, and I know that the analytics has taken a big thing in baseball, and we could argue this till the cows come home. At the end of the day, you could practice some of the stuff for analytics, but when it comes down to go time, you got to go out there and perform. And once again, like we said earlier in this conversation, when you see your team and you got a lot of guys hitting 210, 220, 230, that's not good.
But
okay,
at least I think the eye test is coming back a little bit. I think some teams
I hope
are using both, because like there's no reason why Jazz Chisholm Jr. should be a third baseman, but the eye test shows you he could be. If you watch him play, you're like, that guy could be a third baseman. He's got the fundamentals. He just needs to put them at work. He got to put them to work. No one thought A-Rod was moving to third either.
He had no choice because he wasn't taking it over for Jeter.
No, and
A-Rod
it
was a better shortstop than Jeter. And once again, no disrespect to Jeter. A-Rod was the best shortstop. But
without a doubt,
you are not moving Jeter. Period. It's his team. And that doesn't mean that Jeter stunk. But when you take A-Rod and you compare him to the guys back then, and I had this discussion with somebody, a baseball guy. I said, okay, let's put it down. He was a Cleveland Indians fan. I said, you guys had Vizquel. Vizquel is, oh my God, he's so good. You can't argue him. But he wasn't better than A-Rod. Okay? And Vizquel was very good. So you got Vizquel, you got Tejada, you got Garcia-Parra, you got A-Rod, you got Jeter. Okay, let's just take these five guys here. And I'm not even going to the National League for Call and so forth. Renteria. You got so many other guys. So I said, let's go on these guys. Right here, stack them. So I said, power. A-Rod's number one. The other guys are good. They got power. I mean, Tejada probably had the most out of all the other ones. He's going to hit you, 30?
Talk about a shortstop who ended up hitting almost 700 home runs. He's still, at the end of the day, a shortstop.
Yeah. And
crazy.
I said, RBIs, A-Rod. Batting average. Let's not forget, A-Rod was a 300 hitter. They all were. Were. Okay, now let's talk about the glove. He's 6'3", 6'4".
And he had range.
Range.
Jeter didn't.
He was able to dive, still come up with a rocket. I mean, so it's like, when you want to label them, if you're going to go on, what are you going to go on? You want to go late inning guy? Oh, Jeter's number one. Probably Vizquel right there. Those two guys are 1 and 2 because they find ways to get on base late in the game for their team. I mean, you look at that Cleveland Indians team with him, Alomar, Lofton, those three. Oh my God, 330,
Tommy was on that team
hitters.
too. No,
it's just set the table for the thumpers behind. Tommy, Manny, Ellis Burks, like just set the table for the. Those are the guys that are going to smash the ball. You just figure out how to get on base, and they did it so well. And look what they did in Cleveland. They just won and won and won and won. And
they almost owned the 90s. They made. Unfortunately, there was two teams that in 1995, if I said to you, pick one team, what's the team in the 90s? You're going to tell me the Braves or the Indians at the time.
And you want to know something?
It was the New York Yankees.
But you could turn around and say the Yankees too. Put the three of them. I mean, neither one of us. If you said Braves, I'm not going to turn around and say no, you're wrong. It's this or whatever. No, we're all three of those teams. We're the teams of the 90s.
And you would have never guessed that based on where the Yankees were at in 95.
Nope.
They were terrible. That strike year was it set baseball back without a doubt. We wouldn't have the Nationals today if 94 had finished.
No, Montreal would have still been in the picture because they were 100%. The best team in baseball at that year. And then all of a sudden things went down. And look at the guys they had. They did have Pedro. They did have Randy Johnson. They had Larry Walker. And just to name a few. And
Bartolo Colon ended up on the team. So like they were really good. They could have been special. And then, I mean, Ryan Zimmerman was the first draft pick right after they left. So he probably would have ended up being there.
Could have. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's upsetting. I think baseball's going to go back to Montreal. It's just a no-brainer. They fill that stadium every time they put the Blue Jays there. They're still excited for baseball.
Blue Jays are. I mean, but listen, Blue Jays have spent some money, and they're not. They're getting the rewards as far as the financials, but they're not really winning games. They're spending. They're a
No.
500 team, slightly above 500. That team is loaded. That team is very loaded on both aspects, pitching, and offense.
And they have a bunch of guys who just been around, who grew up in the game. You know, Bo Bichette, his father,
Yeah,
Kevin Biggio, his father, who you played with as a rookie,
yeah,
and obviously Vlad.
yeah.
So it's important to have those voices in a locker room, whether they're contributing on the field or not. They get it. They know
Hmm.
the grind of 162 from a young age, and that's important. We don't.
Yep.
The game misses that too. No one plays 162. No one knows the grind anymore. It's gross. It's so
Well,
gross.
I mean, you got too many guys that are. I mean, you got guys that just they're given days off. It's like, I mean, I get taking care of your body and all that stuff, but I mean, like I would have a hard time, like Junior and Buhner and Edgar and A-Rod, all those guys when I played with the Mariners. Hey, Junior, you're gonna give you a day off. I could only imagine him just what?
Mm-hmm.
No. I
No,
mean, you're
those guys
talking
didn't
about
take
guys that are
off.
150. They play 155 games, unless they're hurt. If they have an injury, that's a different story. We're not talking about injuries are different. But
Of
if
course.
they're healthy, they figure out how to get their bodies going. Whether it's spending some more time in the weight room, whether it's spending some time in the training room, doing the stuff that needs to be done to be able to go out there and contribute for the team. Because at the end of the day, that's what it was about.
But I think the shape of baseball players, like physically, has changed, and personally, I think they're too muscular because that's why they're tearing things. This is why they're getting hurt. They're getting too big. Because look at the guys you just named. Even Ichiro was a twig, but he never
Yeah.
got hurt. Played forever. And I mean, well, Ichiro was so special. That's another guy who, when he became a Yankee, it was just, he could be 95 years old, but he was a Yankee, and it did not matter. It was the coolest thing
Yeah.
ever.
You
It
didn't
was
get
so
the
cool.
Ichiro that I played with. The guy that I played with, I mean, once again, he just had that little slap in that 6-hole to a T. It was like so perfect. And I mean, but if you watch his batting practice was, I mean, Safeco Field, he was hitting the Safeco, the cafe over there. I mean, hitting the ball harder than just the regular power guys. And it was an
What
easy
was
swing, and the bat just jumped off his ball.
what was the atmosphere like knowing you were getting that guy? He was a mythical creature
I
before
don't
he got here.
But you know something? I don't think there was a lot of information, obviously from the Japanese side. Nobody knew what we were getting in the
He
grand
was just
scheme of things.
a name. Well, he was one name, and
Yeah,
he won MVP his rookie year. It's so special that like Trout should have. But there was a triple crown, but oh man, and now he's finally getting like that recognition. 51 is gonna be retired this year, so Seattle's doing now a good job at recognizing their history. And next year's gonna be Randy's 51, which I love what he did, telling them to wait, retire me second.
yeah,
It's a big man, big decision. But he was right. That's the right decision.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't want to kind of muddy the waters. Let the recognition be for the individual, not for multiples.
And
You know.
it's going to be a big year for Ichiro. I like that they waited till his Hall of Fame year too to do it. Will you be making the trip to Seattle? Are you going to go out there?
Not no plans of it.
No plans
No,
of
I
it.
mean, once again, I mean, I'm working now, but for me right now, it's more of what you call it, my vacation time. I'm coming home to New York. I
All
mean,
right, good
I
for you.
told you I'm currently in Arizona, so
Hmm.
for the time being, but for me, it's like if I'm gonna go anywhere with young kids, I mean, okay, I go to Seattle. They don't know nothing about that right now. Down the road, yes, I would like to do some of these things, and have my son, because my son, he knows I play baseball, but does he understand I play baseball? Is a different
Yeah,
story. He
he plays
he's
baseball
three
too
years
in
old.
his head.
Yeah, he's three
Yeah,
years old. My wife actually went on YouTube and found a game. It was in Yankee Stadium, and I was warming up in the bullpen, and my son is like practically right there in front, and whatchamacallit, and I could hear, "That's daddy, that's daddy," and he's pointing right at me. while I'm in the bullpen. And
That's exciting.
yeah, so down the road. I mean, I took him to a spring training game this year. Um, Tough to do because it's hot out here.
Mm-hmm.
And that day, I think it was like 92 degrees. So we're out there on the grass,
92 in
and
February is rough.
he just hit a wall. Like we were there
Mm-hmm.
for an hour, and he just was poof. He was
And
out.
baseball is boring for kids, at least
Without,
currently.
without doubt.
Yeah.
And once again, does my kid know what baseball is? No. Does he want to go out there and hit the ball? Yeah, we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a tee for him. Well, let's go hit the ball for a little bit. But at 3 years old, does he really know? I mean, I'm going to wait till he's 5 years old. I'll do it with him. Hey, you want to go hit the ball out in front of the house? You want to go? You want to go and play catch a little. We play catch more in the house instead of taking him out there because it's not going to be
hot.
but it's not going to be a long thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not going to stand there and play catch for 15 minutes. But in here, if we did it for 15 minutes, okay, he doesn't have to chase it that far, number one. Number two, like it doesn't matter for the distance. It's just
the motions are important.
Exactly. So at some point, maybe in New York, I'll take him and we'll go out there in the backyard and we'll play some catch and so forth and do the little things like that. And maybe I'll even go buy a wiffle ball bat. And here, let's hit this. Maybe a wiffle ball's too long of a bat because he's going to probably wind up whacking his younger brother in the face. Yeah, that too. So, so little things like that. But, I mean, he's 3 years old. He doesn't know what sports are. We got him in soccer. He constantly is grabbing the ball with his hands. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just kick it. Stop it with your foot. This like that. He doesn't know. In due time, he will.
I feel for my parents who had to sit through my 4-year-old soccer games. That could not have been very enjoyable. Cannot imagine the quality was good.
Yeah. So, but once again, I mean, for me, my mindset is that it's he's out there, he's playing, he's running around, he's learning some agility stuff. Going left, right, foot, hand-eye coordination. What is not hand-eye? Foot to eye coordination by kicking the ball.
Mm-hmm. And
little things like that. Exactly. It's it's a slow start. I mean, like I don't expect them to all of a sudden turn around and say, "Oh, you know what, Daddy? I want to go play baseball." There's nothing I could do. There's no leagues at 3 years old, dude. You can't play. So it's
no, it's not like it was. I was playing t-ball at 3, but I don't think that exists the same way it did.
Because there's no money involved in it. Because guess what? Now everything is travel ball, where they rob you of all your money to go on. We're going to tell you we're going to go to this tournament here because there's going to be a lot of scouts.
There's no more
in-house
in-house
leagues. And there's no scouts there. You're liars. You just take it. It's a money grab for you guys, and that's all it is.
And like we were talking about it a little bit before we got on, the state of, especially here in New York and Brooklyn, the state of Little League Baseball is not what it was when I was growing up 15 years ago, and even then it was dying.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is important. Like, actually, okay, this weekend is play ball weekend for Major League Baseball, and they're trying to push, Little League and getting your kids out there, it's important, especially for this game. This is our game.
Yeah. It's a Brooklyn pastime.
Yeah, look, Sandy Koufax grew up in Brooklyn. Like, there's so many greats and legends, especially the Dodgers. The color barrier was broken in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And that that they don't really honor the history of Brooklyn and baseball is upsetting. I mean, we have the Cyclones, but it's not even there. The Mets don't even own them anymore. So that it's a matter of time before they even lose their Mets affiliation, probably.
I would agree to that statement, especially because the Yankees lost Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
They moved out, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they moved out to Somerset, New Jersey.
Yeah, they're the Somerset Patriots now.
Okay.
Yeah, the Somerset Patriots, and they still have the Trenton Thunder. The Mets moved from Vegas to Syracuse for their AAA team.
I knew about that one. I think Vegas is
the A's.
Is it the A's?
That sounds right to me. I think so.
They were Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, maybe for a year or two, and then maybe Toronto needed a spot because they were going to Buffalo, and maybe there was something with Cleveland. Cleveland was in Buffalo, and they wound up going to Columbus. The minor league teams move around at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, like the Durham Bulls have been part of everyone's organization. Yeah, since 2019. They're the Aviators now. They're no longer the 51s in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah, well, they got a new stadium now. They were playing at the old one, and now they're at a new one.
All right, so and baseball's going to Vegas. Did you ever think that?
No, you know what? I don't know why people turn around and say, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not trying to, you know, dog anybody else in baseball's opinion about the Coliseum. Oakland Coliseum, the playing surface there is immaculate, and it's grass. Those grounds crew guys get after it. The mound, beautiful. Now, when football comes around and they start playing those preseason games, yes, the September, it starts to get chewed up. And you see a lot of things happening. Very hard for them to maintain that field. And that's right around playoff time. And, Oakland back then, they were always in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason why they lost, whatever. We could have those conversations about why they lost or opinions about why they lost, but they were good teams. And the playing surface was just phenomenal.
And
All right, the locker room wasn't the great. Go ahead.
You were there in an exciting time. Like every team that you were with is just a different exciting time in their history. You were there right outside of Moneyball, so things were really happening in Oakland too.
Yeah, I mean Hattiesburg was a big part of Moneyball.
Mm-hmm. And
so there's so there's just a lot of things. I mean, like I said, I like the Coliseum. I mean it's good in as far as location. You got the highway right there. People can easily come and go. I mean, do they fill up on a regular basis? No, but when the Giants come in, Mount Davis is open. When the Yankees come in, I mean, they're going to see their ticket sales and they're going to make the necessary, changes that need to be done. Now, I get it. They want to get more of a better baseball field instead of the football type of field, but I liked going there. I liked playing there. I liked it a lot, matter of fact.
It was just the last couple of years just seemed very disrespectful to the fans of Oakland, especially last year. The last game of the year, they didn't open up Mount Davis after selling it out for an awful baseball team. Like, they were horrendous last year, and they're very lucky that the White Sox existed last year and the Rockies exist this year.
Oh my
because
God!
The Athletics might actually get forgotten as to how bad they've actually been.
They did the bonfire sale. They got rid of a lot of their guys, and I mean, but listen, Billy Beane is very good at replacing those guys and putting up a team there. He's very, very smart at making the moves.
There's two GMs in baseball that if they ever get fired, the game is broken. It's Billy Beane and Brian Cashman. There's a reason why these guys have been there for 30 years.
Oh my God!
And you don't get rid of them. Teams go through GMs every 2 to 5 years. Yankee fans need to be very grateful that they have Brian Cashman. It doesn't matter.
I mean, look at what Billy's done for Oakland. They've been in the playoffs with a minuscule freaking payroll, and they're going up against the Yankees. And I even and don't quote me on this verbatim, but I think I remember Billy Beane. They lost to the Yankees in the opening round. And now we were in limbo because we were either going down to Oakland or we were going to New York. And we're just waiting. It's game 5. Yankees won. We were off to New York and so forth to play the Yankees in the ALCS. And Billy Lilly said it. He goes, if I had the Yankee payroll, I could put a better team out there. But look what we've accomplished. Mm-hmm. Look at our team salary cap compared to theirs.
And you took them to 5.
And we competed with them. We took them to game 5. We won, close to 100 games. We're in the playoffs every year. We're in the playoffs with a small payroll.
And look at the guys Billy has drafted throughout the years, guys that have won MVP that they have created. Matt Chapman or Josh Donaldson, like 2 third basemen who are MVP caliber players.
Yeah. And their pitching. Think about their pitching. Mulder,
guy like Dallas Braden, who for years was incredible down there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everybody knows him from the A-Rod thing, but he pitched a perfect game, and he was a great third starter. The third starter is the most important starter in the rotation.
Yeah.
To me, because you need to get to that back half. You got to win those 3 games.
You know what you're getting from 1 and 2. You know 1 and 2 who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on certain teams. You know what your 1, 2, and 3 are. Your 4 and 5s, if you could muster up something from your 4s and 5s, you're doing really good because your number 1 should be close to a 20-game winner back when I played, if not a 21-game winner. Your number 2 is in the same category. There's a reason why. Your number 3 is probably a 16, 17-game winner, and then boom, here comes your 4s and 5s. Now, some teams had legit 4s and 5s that all of a sudden. Just 1 second. Your 4s and 5s on some teams, if they popped in and dropped a 15, 16 game wins. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your team, you're going to win a lot of games.
You win a lot of games.
That's what's important, and that's what, like, a lot of fans think that every guy you sign needs to be the ace. Like Kodai Senga, I was saying when they signed him, hey, as a Yankee fan who watched Tanaka, be happy if he's a third starter. He comes here and can give you what Tanaka gave us as where he was at, and he gets hurt too often. These Japanese guys come over and they hurt their arms. It's okay to be a third starter, and I think we're getting back to that. I think like you have a guy like Carlos Rodon or Max Fried who were signed on this year to be a third starter for the Yankees. Guys are starting to buy in a little bit more to winning.
Yeah, when you're talking about the Japanese guys, you see the history with them coming to American baseball, MLB. They pitch once a week there in Japan. You are the Friday starter. So guess what? You're pitching this Friday. You're pitching next Friday. You're pitching, like, they don't go through a 5-man rotation. If I'm not mistaken, they play 6 games. They have a 6-man rotation. You are the Friday starter, and that's it. And you set up your throwing schedule and they throw. It's not like they don't throw.
If you think our Major League Baseball players are creatures of habit and they're ritualistic, it's a different animal when you get to Japan. It's the way that they breathe baseball. You would think the game was invented and started there. They just love it.
Their bullpen sessions, they're not just quick little 30-pitch bullpens. They'll throw 100-pitch bullpens.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable how much they do throw, how much they swing hitting-wise. They're just hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. They got double cages.
I remember
it's just going and going and going, and you're just like, oh my God, it's like, you hear from our standpoint, quality work over quantity. Well, their quantity, period.
I remember growing up. It's changed now, but the idea was if you wanted a ball player, you got him from Japan. If you wanted a superstar, you got him from the Dominican Republic or Cuba.
Yeah.
That's how it was, and now the superstars are coming from Japan. It's going to be fun for baseball.
And think about it. You go from pitching once every 7 days to now once every 5 days in America. And, the Japanese arms are not trained for that. And, it's really hard for them to now, okay, what's my schedule? What's my routine?
With a heavier ball.
Today. What was that?
That ball is heavier too. It feels different.
It feels different. The balls in Japan are a little bit more tacky, rubberish.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it becomes one of those deals. But, you're going from, okay, I'm pitching 7 days. I don't pick up a ball. Mondays are always off days. So I don't have to worry, about even picking up a ball on that day. So you technically have 2 days off of not throwing the ball. So it's just one of these things of just different cultures. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not knocking Japanese baseball. I played in Taiwan, so I was a part of, getting some days off, and so forth. Daddy's just in the middle of something, so just give me a second, okay, buddy? So, now all of a sudden you go from, okay, I think I was the Thursday starter, and it was like, okay, every Thursday I pitched. Now it's like, okay, well, what's my routine? I know I have Monday off, sometimes Tuesdays off. Those are 2 days I'm not going to pick up a ball. I'm not coming to the ballpark. I don't know how to speak Chinese or Taiwanese, so it's like, how am I getting there or whatnot? So I just got to the point where it's like these little things of, they're things are different in those countries.
Now, did you ever get to go out there to open a series? Because I know every team that you've played for has played against the Yankees in Tokyo. The Mariners have, I know, and the A's, and I'm pretty sure the Rays have all played in Tokyo against the Yankees.
Well, I did it with the Rays. We opened up against the Yankees.
Yeah,
yes,
which I remember that, which is crazy. But yeah, okay.
Yes. We went to Japan. We played there, and we played 2 Japanese games, 2 exhibition games against the Japanese teams, and then boom, we opened up Yankees 1 and 2, and then we came home. I wish that trip was longer than what it was because you don't get a chance to do anything, and I don't mean like we were handcuffed to our hotel room. You're talking about jet lag. You get there, you're tired.
You're just there to play.
You got the function, the big dinner, all the promoters and that part of it. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, here we are, game 1, and you're just like, oh my God, I want to go back to the hotel and go to sleep. I can't keep my eyes open. Like, hard to get your body motivated. And now all of a sudden, game one against the Yankees, yeah, the adrenaline kicks in, but it's like, oh God. Now all of a sudden, game two is over, and you're on a plane coming back to spring training,
To
no
spring
less.
training, because now, yeah, exactly. Now the dog of competitive games. Now you have to go take a step back and try to. All right, let me pitch at 85 because next week I got to ramp up again.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how else it could be done. I don't know if it could be done any better than what it was, than the way it is. I'm sorry, the way it is. I just wish we were able to be there maybe for a week, 8, 9, 10 days, maybe. I tried to get out and about to see Tokyo. I mean, things to that nature, and you
If
can't
I'm
because it's like I
not
got to get back to the
mistaken,
ball.
they played exhibition games this year as well against Japanese teams. So maybe they are giving them a little bit of a longer time there.
Oh, I mean, if they are, they are. That I don't know. But once again, when do they leave and when do they come back? They're coming back after the second game. That's for sure. They're going to fly through the night and so forth. But okay, but when do they leave to get there? Because we got to remember they're a day ahead of us roughly.
Yeah.
So in the grand
It's like
scheme of
13-ish
things,
hours.
something like that. Yeah. So we leave today. We're getting there tomorrow night.
If not the day
Tomorrow
after,
night.
you might lose an
You know,
entire day out of it.
you might lose yeah. So so it becomes one of those things. Okay, so you get there, but it's like when you touch down. For me personally, it would be okay. Let's give these guys a week. We're going to play our 4 games. Hell, we'll play 5 games, but give them a day. Like go and enjoy Tokyo. Go mingle with the fans. Mingle with the crowd. Mingle with the people out there. Go to restaurants. Go to the stores. I mean, once again, you had very little of that.
The hindsight is different now too because that's free advertising. If Shohei Ohtani goes to a market in Japan, 3 million people are posting it online, and now everyone's talking about Shohei Ohtani. So that's it. And I know going there, guys have talked about playing in Japan in the 2000s. Ichiro's face is everywhere. You can't walk 3 feet without seeing him. I know they talked about it when he retired as well.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like once again, those are unicorns in Japanese baseball. They were unicorns over here too, but once again, unknown unicorns over here. They developed into those. I mean, they were talented. I mean, I'm not saying it the right way. They were talented, but
it's always a question mark.
wasn't out. You didn't know what you were going to get with American baseball. Yes, there are some Japanese pitchers that throw hard, but we've got a 5-man rotation that throws hard every game. We got a bullpen that throws harder for 1 inning. So, like, you don't have that, or at least you didn't have that when I was there. I don't know the dynamics of what baseball is over there as far as the pitching, the velocities and so forth, but you didn't have it to what it was.
It's every time someone makes the jump, though. Like, even now, you have former Cy Young winners like Trevor Bauer going to Mexico and can't throw the ball. People are hitting bombs off of him. And he didn't do too great to start in Korea either. It's just a culture shock, too. And it's a big change. Mr. Halama, I really appreciate you doing this. You're welcome back anytime you want to talk baseball. Good luck with your son and teaching him the game. And I look forward to hopefully catching up again soon.
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds good, man. I hope everything was good. I hope you are good. Hope you tell your dad I said hi.
Absolutely will do.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much.